Going home as an adult for the holidays can feel very weird, to say the least. It can bring about a lot of anxiety, a lot of old triggers, a lot of insecurities from our past that maybe we don't want to revisit. Family members that push our boundaries, that make us feel really triggered, bumping into exes, old friends. Maybe it's just being back under our parents' roof that makes us feel like our high school self again. Or maybe it's having to see those people from our past that we're really dreading seeing. Or maybe it's just that feeling like we have to be at a certain place in life to prove ourselves to people back home and to perfect that elevator pitch at the social gatherings to make sure people know that we're on the right track and that we're doing well in life when maybe we're not feeling super confident about where we're at and what we're doing. There's a whole list of reasons why going home as an adult can feel very weird. And if you are feeling any of this, you are so not alone. I 100% feel this when I go home, and I'm realizing most of us do, because the reality is every single one of us has unique family dynamics, right? Maybe it's that our parents are divorced and it's been weird going home for years now. Maybe we're not at a great place with our parents or one of our siblings. Maybe the holiday traditions have totally changed since certain siblings have had kids and now it's kind of weird. You don't really know where it feels like home to you. Maybe your parents have moved around a bunch. Maybe you've developed more of a life where you live now and you're not even sure if you should go home. I've realized that's the case with a lot of people I've met here in Austin. There's plenty of new friends of mine who aren't going home for the holidays or who are going home for like 2 days max because they're like, that's all I can really handle, going home to be with my parents or in that house. And then I'm going to come back here where I feel like much more at peace and much more aligned with this new version of myself. Again, the list goes on and on. There's a million different things going on here. But Christmas is personally my favorite holiday. It's one of my favorite times of year, and I personally don't plan to let any weirdness or any anxiety or stress get in the way of me having a peaceful holiday, of me having quality time with my family, much needed downtime and rest, and to truly enjoy it, to lean into the season of giving, abundance, and gratitude. For most of us, this is our time away from work to check out, step away from the everyday stresses and anxiety of life. And we don't need to let unnecessary stress and anxiety about being back in our hometown or being in that past environment under our parents' roof or around people from our past trigger us and make us feel bad. And so that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how we can protect our peace if we're going home for the holidays, how we can truly enjoy our holiday without letting these triggers and insecurities from being back in that old environment in. So I'm going to share with you boundaries and reminders that I plan to take home with me for the holiday season to protect my peace and have a wonderful Christmas, and that you can take back home with you as well. But before we dive in, if you are new here, my name is Camille. I'm the host of Fulfilled, the podcast you are listening to or watching. And if you aren't already, be sure to press follow or subscribe wherever you are listening to the show. This will give you access to both episodes every single week when they come out on Mondays and Thursdays on your journey to stepping into your true potential and living this life fully. And if you're returning, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful that you're here and listening every single week. And if you haven't already, leave a rating and review on the show or comment, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. This will really, really help in my efforts to grow the Fulfilled community. Maybe you listen to me share this every single episode and you haven't done it yet, so just press pause and do it. It'll take 2 seconds, and I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Okay, let's dive in. Let's talk boundaries and reminders to feel at peace going home for the holidays. Because every single one of us deserves rest. Every single one of us deserves to feel peace and like our most confident, best selves when we spend time with family and friends this holiday season. And you get to choose how you spend your holidays. So let's talk about the boundaries we need to set in order to do so. Because only you know what's going to serve you and what doesn't. Just like only I know what's going to serve me to say yes and no to, and what I don't have to say yes and no to. So let's dive in, because that's kind of touching on the first one already. So first point, you don't have to say yes to things that you don't want to do. Again, the holidays are our time to step away. It's our time away from work, from responsibilities, from the everyday stresses and anxiety. It's not about needing to fill our calendar with all these social things. It's not about needing to prove ourselves to other people. It's not about needing to show face at every single social event that is going on in your hometown or that your family is putting on. You can say no to things that aren't going to serve you. So maybe your family has like booked out your calendar of all of these events. And maybe you're like, I can only have so much family time and I need rest along the way. And I need to unwind from this really demanding month of work and all of these holiday parties I was already going to in the respective city that I'm living in. You can set boundaries and say no to some things. Communicate that to your family, the people that you're going home to see, and take the time that you need. Or another one is like, if there's all these friends from your past making all these social plans to get back together, right? Maybe it's planning these dinners, or maybe it's just meeting up at the bars with people from high school, maybe people from college if you went to college nearby. And at least for me, this can often feel triggering because there's a lot of people in those groups I'm no longer talking to, right? Or no longer connected with, and who I haven't literally talked to in years. They have no idea what I'm up to. They don't know this new version of me or what I'm doing, nor me, them. And just to preface, this is not to say that any of them are doing anything wrong, right? They might be perfectly kind and have perfectly good intentions, but I personally find that I just kind of drift back into that old version of myself often when I'm around people from my past, right? If those people knew a past version of me, often I find I drift back into those past triggers and past insecurities that old version of me felt because I'm back around those people, because I'm back in those environments where I was that version. And I personally no longer want to be that version of me. So I notice every time I spend time around people from my past, whether that be high school or college, or again, just being back under the old roof, back in my old hometown, I feel like I drift back to this old version of me a lot. And so personally, a boundary that I like to set is saying no to spending too much time with people who make me feel like that old, less secure, triggered version of me. One that felt like she had to prove herself to everyone. One that felt like she had to keep up and fit in and fit a mold and be liked because she wanted that validation. I've personally learned the people and environments that I always leave feeling less secure around. And during the holidays, I remind myself it is okay to say no to excess social obligations back in those environments and around those people, because I know how I want to feel. And certain people and environments lead us to feel otherwise. Maybe it's just certain energies that you're like, I always feel bad leaving those energies. We can set those boundaries. Or maybe you love soaking up all the social obligations. You can't wait to see every single person from high school and college and your neighbor and those people at church and all the things. Then lean in. Only we know what serves us. And if you love leaning into the social things and seeing people from your past, that is fantastic. But I also know there's a lot of us that don't feel great seeing people from years ago and people whose energies make us feel not great. And we can say no to those settings if it's not going to serve us. Like for me, I prioritize spending time with family during the holidays. I do love seeing friends here and there. And if it works out to see friends, great. But I am primarily home to lean into the holiday traditions and just slow down and spend time with family. So I do make that my obligation. And often that means saying no to the social settings with friends because that's not my number one priority going home. And I know what's going to make me feel good and what's not going to make me feel good. And that's just what I've learned about myself. It has nothing to do with anyone else. And everyone can choose to spend their holidays as they want. But this is your reminder that you can give yourself permission to say no to seeing certain people and no to being back in certain environments. Or maybe you say yes to the one social outing, but you don't have to go every single night to all the dinners and all of the bar outings, right? And all of the gatherings that a previous version of you might have felt obligated to go to and might have felt FOMO if you didn't go. But ask what this version of you needs. Because as an adult, or 20-somethings, we're like kind of adults, right? I feel like I never fully feel like an adult. But we have the autonomy and the independence to decide what works for us. We don't have to resort back to that high school version of us that was obligated to do whatever the friend group does. And I know a lot of us feel that way. So say yes to what serves you and say no to what doesn't. That is the first way to protect your peace. Okay, second thing I want to dive into is you don't have to share all the details about your life. In fact, I actually think you shouldn't. This is a big lesson I've learned lately. I've learned the power and beauty of keeping things to myself, especially if it's something newer in my life, something that I'm still navigating and feeling confident about. I want to protect that. I want to keep that energy pure and protect who I share it with and what I share with people, if I even do. And this kind of touches on that idea of like, if you're at that gathering, right? Whether that be the friend group dinner, whether that be the family friend party, or when you're at church and just chatting with all the people on Christmas Eve and they're asking about your life, you don't have to reveal all the details. You don't have to justify every little part of your life. Tell them about your whole love life. Tell them about the new career pursuit that you're not really sure how it's going yet, but justify it to them to make sure they know that you're doing okay and that, you're happy and successful. All this to say, you have nothing to prove to anybody. You simply don't. I know I at least often feel this need to prove my success to people or prove that I'm happy and doing well, right? Of course, we want people to look at us or think of us as someone who's doing great, right? Like, oh, look at Camille, like she's thriving and killing it in Austin, right? But the truth is we don't have to reveal all parts of our life. We don't have to sugarcoat things. We don't have to reveal all the details. We don't have to justify or prove anything to anyone. So maybe it's your love life, right? Maybe you just started seeing someone, but you're not really sure how it's going. You guys haven't really defined it yet. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of insecurity about it. Protect that peace. Keep it something special and pure to you. You don't have to go tell your neighbor about it on your dog walk and vent to them for 10 minutes about how the date went and how you're not really sure about that one text that they sent. You don't need to prove to everyone at your family friend's party that your love life is going well. When your friends ask you about your dating life, if it's something that you don't want to share, you can keep it very vague. You can keep it high level. You can reveal it to the people that you trust and that you want to share it with, but the people that really aren't in your life that maybe you just bump into or that you don't want to share things with, you don't have to. When we're asked a question, our automatic thought is that, oh, we should answer this fully honesty, right? I don't want to lie or feel like I'm hiding something from people. But this isn't hiding something. This isn't lying. This is protecting our peace. This is not letting other people's energies or judgments or projections in on something that might be new, that might be something that we're a bit insecure about still. So for me, earlier on when I started the podcast, I was very nervous to share it with anyone. I shared it with friends early on and I kind of regretted it because there were certain energies and gossip and dynamics that ended up happening that made me feel even more insecure and made me regret starting it at all in certain ways because I let in these energies that I didn't realize I was letting in simply by sharing my goals and dreams with more people than I maybe should have or than I intended to. And now I'm very open about it because I'm a couple years in and I'm at a place where I'm a lot more confident with it. But it could be the same if you're dating someone, right? Maybe it's very new and maybe you don't want to let people's judgments and opinions cloud your mindset on how things are going, cloud your opinion on how you feel. Because when we let in so many judgments and external energies and opinions, it can really cloud our own judgment. And again, only we know what's best for us. And our true confidence can only come from within us, not from validation from other people. And another one that's coming to mind is often people ask, when they hear that I have a podcast, they're like, how are the analytics? How's the listenership, right? How many followers and listeners do you have? And how many monthly downloads, blah, blah, blah. And this immediately triggers me because it's something that I focused on a lot in the beginning and was constantly feeling insecure about and disappointed by because I'm like, how come this isn't growing to the speed that I want it to grow at? And now if I'm at a family friend party, especially adults, actually a lot of young people too, I'm going to take back that age narrative. It's very interesting. When I share with people that I have a podcast, it's the first question they ask. And I know it's because that's how they judge how successful the podcast is, right? It's not like, oh, what do you love to talk about? What do you love about it? How's it going? It's what are the numbers? Straight up, what are the analytics? And it makes me feel very triggered and insecure because it's something I'm personally not making my primary focus. My primary focus is the value and authenticity and impact that I am having in what I'm doing, not how many downloads and listeners and followers do I have. Because to me, that shouldn't be the focus. That should be the secondary outcome from being authentic and from putting in as much value as possible. And so now I give this response where I don't really buy into the question. I don't let it trigger me and I don't really feed into the conversation. I say, actually, that's not the main thing I focus on. I'm more focused on just contributing value and showing up authentically to really help others live fully and feel less alone. And quick aside, if you are craving change in life, if you're craving something more, but maybe you're letting all these external pressures bog you down, maybe you're terrified of taking risk or making that change, or maybe you have this desire for something more, but have no idea what that is and are craving a bit of clarity and direction and inspiration and motivation to actually make that a reality, I work one-on-one with clients in a life coaching practice where I help you do just that. I help my clients get clarity on what they want and discover who they really are, work through the limiting beliefs and fears that are keeping them stuck in the same patterns, habits, and cycles that they might feel unfulfilled in, and help them actually take steps to become this version of themselves. It's not about just doing things. It's about embodying and becoming that version of yourself that makes this a reality. And that is my mission as a life coach. So if any of that resonates with you, check out my website linked below to learn more about what this is all about. And if you resonate with this, book a free clarity call with me where we can get clear on where you're at versus where you would like to be and help you take steps to get there. Okay, let's get back to the episode. Something like that to kind of redirect the conversation away from me feeling like I need to pull out my Spotify for Podcasters app and like show them my analytics because I'm protecting my peace. I know it's something that triggers me. I know it's something that I don't want to let everyone into because it's personal to me. They have no business knowing what my analytics are, right? It's not even the main thing that matters. And I don't need to feed their ego just wondering like how quote successful the podcast is. It's literally to me like asking someone like, how much money do you make? Like to me, it's a weird question to ask. Anyways, that one might not resonate with all of you, but the whole point here is we don't have to share all the details with everyone in our life. Even if they ask a question, we can protect our peace if it's something new, if it's something we're not very confident in yet. It's not us lying. It's not us keeping things. It's us protecting our energy. And a good way to do this is to just give a kind but vague reply, redirecting them and sharing like, this isn't really something that I want to answer fully, but like, thank you for asking, and move on. And next way to protect our peace is a little bit similar to that one, but ultimately, when we feel triggered by people, we don't have to let it get to us. We don't have to buy into it. The sooner we let that trigger go and pass through us, the better. So again, maybe it's your parents, right? Maybe it's being back under that old roof that makes you feel like the constant moody high schooler or middle schooler. Or maybe it's being around old friends who make you feel insecure and triggered, like a past version of yourself. By not reacting or responding in a way that the old version of us would have, it's us unlearning that trigger. It's us letting that trigger go to instead choose this new and evolved version of us, to react as this higher and better version of us who knows better. We can recognize that trigger when it arises, but not buy into it. Again, like that example I just gave, when people ask about the analytics of the show, I don't like say back to them like, oh, why are you asking? And then like pull out my phone to like prove that there's people listening or something like that. I take a deep breath, notice myself feeling triggered, but reply in that kind way that I shared previously. The one redirecting them, letting them know it's not something I'm really interested in engaging in. Maybe it's someone asking about your love life, right? Or asking about your career that you're currently in the middle of navigating and it's going horribly and you're figuring it out. Maybe it triggers you when they ask about that. You don't have to buy into it. You don't have to react. You don't have to give them all the details or respond in that reactive or triggered way. You can give a kind response. Let them know it's not something you really want to engage in and spend time and energy on in that conversation, and move on. The sooner we let go of those triggers from our past, triggers that used to really control us and impact us, the more we can maintain this newer and more calm and at peace and confident version of ourselves. So those triggers are going to come up. They are going to arise, but we can choose how we react and respond to them. And that is us choosing to let those triggers go instead of solidifying them within us. And finally, last one, very important way to protect our peace when we go home is to maintain the rituals and practices that ground us, that make us feel like this best version of ourselves. Those things that you do wherever you're living now, every single day, that make you feel good. Take those home with you. Incorporate them into your holidays back at home to remind you of this version that you are now, instead of just letting the past environment and past people pull you all the way back into that old version. And this isn't to say you have to keep up with your total routine, right? But take a couple of the rituals and practices that make you feel really good, that will be easy to incorporate throughout your day or in the mornings or evenings. So for me, that looks like getting movement every day. When I'm home, this is literally probably going to be just going on a long walk with my dog, listening to a podcast or music, or just silence, honestly. Alone time. That's a big one that I need to lean into because I recharge from being alone. And I'm so used to being so alone here in Austin because I live alone, I work alone. The time I'm really with others is when I'm in a one-on-one coaching call or with friends or like at a coffee shop or something. When I'm back under my parents' roof, surrounded by family and going to all these events, I can really miss having that alone time that I need to carve that out. Again, maybe by going on a walk or going to a cafe to work on the podcast one morning or something, or going to run errands and just like bumping to music in the car. Big one for me too is meditating every single day. It's something that grounds me every single morning here and something I plan to take home with me as well. Again, even if I don't do it as long, it's something that every single morning brings me back into that grounded, calm, non-reactive version of myself that I want to bring back home with me. That doesn't react to triggers, that doesn't let past insecurities let her feel less confident. And journaling, that's something I love to do every morning or evening as well, and helps me be more present and grateful for that time with family, and helps me really soak it all up and reflect on whatever thoughts I am feeling. So these are the things I plan to take with me back home. And again, no need at all to bring back any perfect routine or even be so consistent with it. But know that those rituals and practices are there to ground you, to bring you back when you do feel triggered, when you do feel that anxiety come up in any of those circumstances that I just talked about. The holidays are our time to feel good, to feel at peace, to soak up this time with family, friends that we love, to give, to feel grateful, to feel abundant. So protect your peace during these holidays. There is no reason why you need to go home and feel this stress and anxiety and unease the entire time because you're in that past environment and because there's all these things with people from your past that trigger you going on. Take these reminders and boundaries that are going to serve you to protect your peace. Say yes to what serves you. Say no to what doesn't. Keep the details of your life that you want to keep private to yourself. Know that you have autonomy and choice to make the holidays what you want to make it, to prioritize what you want to prioritize. If that's rest, if that's time with family, if that's seeing as many friends as possible, attending as many events as possible, or attending none at all. You do you. Make the holidays yours and protect your peace, whatever that looks like for you. Thank you all for tuning into today's episode. If this resonated with you, send this to a friend who needs to hear it or a family member who is going to totally resonate with this, and leave a comment, rating, or review on the show wherever you are listening to Fulfilled. I hope you all have such a beautiful holiday season and that you truly protect your peace, whatever that looks like for you. And I'll see you all again soon on your journeys to living this life fully.